Guys, by the time you watch this video, I'm left 1 month to the end of probation. This one is really sent shivers down the spine. As you know, I was a former civil servant at the Singapore Department of Statistics, and that's followed by a 600 plus day career break, followed by my current role at World Scientific as a marketing executive. These two places are civil service and private sector, so these are totally different, and I want to share with you what are some of the similarities and differences of the public sector and private sector when working in Singapore. When you arrive in Singapore for work, generally you want to know the characteristics between the private sector jobs and the public sector jobs. But one thing to highlight that the public sector jobs are usually for Singapore citizens only, and so for as a foreigner that you'll likely go to the private sector jobs. For us as employees, we all know that when we work for 1 month, we receive 1 month pay. It's actually straightforward as that, but I would like to highlight that back in my time as a statistician in Singapore Department of Statistics, the pay structure is actually, can say it's very complicated. Besides our monthly salary, I believe that in your Channel News Asia or in local news that you may have noticed that there's a formal announcement every July and every December on what is the amount of bonus that the civil servants can get. The bonus in December is usually larger than the bonus in July, and when these two they add up, it can be slightly over a month. This is in addition to the annual wage supplement or the 30-month bonus that the civil servants are definitely guaranteed to receive. You may have heard about the so-called bell curve system used in to rank Singapore's civil servants. Yes, it's somewhat true that there is actually ranking or based on the performance, and I can say that for a civil servant who actually get the same grade as another civil servant, even though he may be of the same rank, but because of the ranking, and that's why the performance bonus may vary. I should say the rates based on the civil servants, that the performance bonus can be around 1.5 to 2 months. So even if you are a fresh graduate and you actually enter the civil servant, by the time you receive the bonus, it can be easily about 2 to 3 extra months of bonus considering proration, or even 4 months. Meanwhile, when you compare it to WSPC, when it comes to the pay structure, we all know that when you work 1 month, you receive 1 month salary, and we receive the salary towards the end of the month. And one thing I want to highlight to you, if you're wondering on whether there is 30-month bonus, well, from the 2024 batch onwards, basically those who come after the 2024 will not have the 30-month bonus, so those who come earlier than that and will still continue to receive 30-month bonus. For me, because I came in after 2024, so I never received any 30-month bonus. But the thing is, when it comes to performance bonus, it's dependent on the previous financial year from April to March of the following year, and whether you receive the performance bonus, it also depends on whether your firm is thriving well, and more importantly is also your personal performance. I would like to highlight the career progression opportunities back in my previous job at Department of Statistics. So based on my previous role as a statistician, that the progression can be from statistician to assistant director, followed by the deputy director, and maybe chief statistician. Usually for fresh graduates, that the promotion from the statistician to the assistant director, if let's say you are performing well, and you can actually get promoted to in about 2 to 3 years, I suppose. But that is provided that you show leadership qualities. If not, you can be promoted to the senior statistician instead. Meanwhile, at WSPC, right now I'm a marketing executive. So I believe the career path will be something like executive followed by assistant manager and followed by a full manager director. I guess this is a career path, although it may take very long, maybe decades even, to reach the director level. But the thing that actually catch my attention is that in WSPC headquarters, there are the opportunities for being rotated to overseas departments. For example, like WSPC in UK and the US office, they are there, they are present. So it's much more chance compared to back in DOS, in which there's only internal rotation, but in WSPC there is. It's kind of I'm looking forward to going the WSPC overseas branches as furthers my understanding on how both the local and overseas officers, how they are different in culture, all this are like. I remember back in the Department of Statistics that when it comes to the work ethics, well, they are generally relatively younger, and I can say that my supervisor is about 10 years older than my age at the point of time. And even for the director, can have a little bit of traditional, but generally because that most of the members, the team members, supervisors, they are basically should say about 10 years of gap. Okay, so I should say that there is some element of modernity in terms of the methods used to supervise us, maybe not so traditional in a sense. So basically, my current role, marketing executive at WSPC, in terms of work ethics, I should say that they are much more stringent as what I've encountered in the Department of Statistics as a statistician. This is especially so for the older members of the staff in WSPC headquarters, and especially for my supervisor is strict in expectations, whereas my director is also very strict, which is kind of similar to my parents who are very traditional. And this is like another reinforcement of what I encountered under my parents, and then it sends shivers down the spine. Last thing I want to highlight about the work-life balance, I remember back in DOS that because it's part of civil service, so it's actually supposed to highlight the good work-life balance. But there's something that actually surprised me, that actually it depends on who your supervisor is. So if you're unfortunate that you land in a department where overtime is actually common, and especially when overtime is unpaid, so it's not a very good thing. But even that is so that for me that I still continue to clock in and clock out of time. So relatively I'm not that worried. Even though if that may mean that I run out of job or run out of contract, okay, in that case at that point of time I actually didn't mind. Comparing WSPC and DOS, in this case, when it comes to work-life balance, I believe WSPC headquarters is the clear-cut winner. It also depends on the supervisor, whether it's a heng shui thing. So I should say that in WSPC that there are quite a number of overseas colleagues, and those colleagues working in Malaysia is pretty common. So if you look at my background, this is actually Johor Bahru Central, and I believe they took into consideration that because of a significant number of people who coming to WSPC to work are Malaysians, and they need time to go do the travel, the commute across the causeway or second link from Malaysia to Singapore, perhaps on a daily basis, if not weekly basis. So this is why they actually follow the work timing. Okay, when you come to work, please come punctually, and when you leave work, you leave punctually also. So this aspect, I have very mad respect for WSPC. If you're wondering my resume, why there's a 600 plus gap between my last day of my Department of Statistics job and my first day at the World Scientific headquarters. Okay, this is because they're in the something to do with COVID-19, and if there's one thing that I learned from COVID-19 is that you cannot just hope and wait. Like, we have learned that this Chinese proverb called 先苦后甜, but sometimes in real life that you suffer now may not necessarily you enjoy later. You have to make the timing correct. So I believe that during that time there is actually a very good timing to start my YouTube channel, and also to do the activities to build up my business, to determine what's the future direction of business, and all this will take significant amount of time. And I've decided on the YouTube business on the 3 aspects: work, life, travel, sports and recreation. Basically, I should say it's very similar to how the Vietnam coach Park Hang-seo, he actually once he resigned from the Vietnam national football team coach, and he's now taking quite a long time to decide on his last job before he retires. This actually meant as a progressive step to fulfill my aims of being overseas for my away leg of career one day, hopefully in the World Scientific. And I value the interaction with overseas colleagues at the headquarters, which I should say is something of an asset. Do remember to share, like, and subscribe my YouTube channel so that you won't miss any important updates. When my next adventure be home or away, I'll see you in my next vlog. Bye bye!